Alright, we're going to talk about reactions now with alkalis or bases. And these are basically some word equations as well as some examples, very limited examples of actual chemical equations of these reactions. So now let's start off with a very obvious. Acids and alkalis will give us salt and water. And a classic example would be sodium hydroxide with hydrochloric acid yielding soluble sodium chloride, salt, and water. All right. There's also another type of alkali reactions involving metal salts with alkali, and that would yield metal salts and insoluble salts. These are actually how insoluble salts are made. You have two soluble items, mix them together, and you get an insoluble salt or precipitate. All right. A classic example is copper sulfate. Now, that's soluble in water, and sodium hydroxide is also soluble. And then what you get is sodium sulfate and copper hydroxide. All right. So the copper hydroxide is insoluble and will precipitate out in that reaction when you mix the two substances here together. The third example is an acidified carbon dioxide. So it's kind of like carbonic acid. So it's kind of like an acid-base reaction, acid-alkali reaction. So you have acidified carbon dioxide with hydroxide, specifically alkali, because these also are soluble. And you get a metal carbonate and water. So here I have an example of carbon dioxide plus sodium hydroxide. I didn't write carbonic acid because we're not too particular about that at this level. And so you mix the two together, you get sodium carbonate and water. Or you can also get sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate. Both are aqueous in water. Finally, we got ammonium salt with metal hydroxide. All right, when you mix them together, you get a metal salt, water, and ammonia. Classic example is ammonium salt, ammonium chloride that we made previously by mixing ammonia and an acid. You get an ammonium chloride, and then you use that to mix with sodium hydroxide. Both are aqueous, and then what you get is salt, sodium chloride, salt. All right, let's bend this down here. So you get sodium chloride and water plus ammonia gas. That's basically dissolved, or some of it will bubble out from this said solution. Right, so these are examples, very short and quick. We'll focus on more specific things next time.